I got this incredibly cool Mitsubishi Hi-Fi in the local charity shop for an absolute song, and I could not leave it there. So I brought it home with me, and I've tried it out, and although the tuner works on it, the turntable and the tape deck don't. So I'm going to do a bit of repair work on it. This thing is the epitome of 70s Japanese cool. I mean, look at that. Check that out. I have the speakers for it as well, and I also have a case that it goes in, like a display case. So it's complete. I mean, it's got all of the bits there for it. So I'm really looking forward to kind of getting this working right. Now, things like that, that's quite stiff, for example. I'd say the pots are scratchy as hell, so we're going to clean them up as well. But the first thing to do is, like, it's on phono now. We'll just keep the volume down because I've got speakers connected to it. We're going to hit start. Now you see here, all it's doing is making a buzzing noise and it's not doing a damn thing. So to me, that smacks of a broken belt. So we're going to replace the belts on the turntable, and also the tape deck is the same situation. That is not working either. So we're going to replace that too. No wonder this thing failed. It says made in Japan.
What do you mean, Doc? All the best stuff is made in Japan.
This is a Mitsubishi MC-8000. And incidentally, it says, when removing the top or rear cover, disconnect the mains plug from the wall socket. Well, we'll do that. What it doesn't say is no user serviceable parts inside. So, but, well, let's see. Oh, it does. Hang on. There's our challenge. No user serviceable parts inside. Well, all right then. Let's do it anyway. All right. So it seems that the case is kind of in two parts here. So we'll take the top section off first of all. Just from the little bit of reading I did online, I found a lot of people saying that the tape deck belts are a right pain in the face to change, but the turntable belts are pretty straightforward. So let's get the turntable belts done first of all, and I have a full set of belts there for it. So it seems to be a kind of a common issue. It's got the auxiliary input and all that on it as well, which is really cool. I mean, this is a properly nice little piece of kit, and I'll be obviously cleaning it all up and everything as I go. Alright, the moment of truth. I think I have all the screws out. It seems that way anyway, so let's pop out this. Yep, there we go. And straight away, there is no belt on that whatsoever. Well, there's the remains of one. Now, arguably what I'd want to be doing on this is actually changing the capacitors and all that sort of stuff as well. But I'm gonna just kind of proceed sort of gingerly on it. The belt is intact on that there. So I'm just looking at the mechanism here. So there's a little motor here. I'm gonna bring you in closer and show you. So there's the platter drive motor. So that's all grand. I mean, that's turning freely and everything there. And there is the drive motor for the... Okay, so there's two motors here, right? So there's a motor here, which has a broken belt on it, and that is for one direction of movement. There's another motor here, and then there's another motor here. So we need to change all of those belts. So the three of them are, two of the three are broken. So simple fix. So I bought the kit of belts off a shop on eBay called Black Reel. Just for your information, I am not affiliated with them in any way, but what we need to do is scrape off the old belt material here. So I'm just gingerly removing what I can with a Stanley blade. You might stand like. It's like a big flywheel, this thing. It's extraordinary actually how much mass there is to it. Alright, so now what I need to do is get some cleaning solution to just clean off the material, that belt material. I'm going to use actually brake cleaner because it's what I've got, and it will take off the residue of that belt, and then we'll clean it off. We'll make sure that's all dried off before we put anything else near it, and then we'll have a look at the other pulleys. So I'm just putting the brake cleaner on the cloth. I didn't want to go too strong on any of the kind of the solvents or thinners or anything like that I'm using. Yeah, I could use acetone here or something like that, which would certainly take it off, but I think it's just too risky. Okay, so new belt is deployed here and here. So last belt to put on is the main drive belt for the platter. It was called Turntable Wheels of Steel. They're aluminium. Okay, so let's see now. Now, there we go. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn it on now. We're going to have a look and see what happens. Alright. Pop that up. Turn that on. Oh, we got movement. Start. How cool is that? That is just the business. I love this thing. It's a crappy old record, so it doesn't really matter if the record gets scratched or anything like that, but I'm just listening to the stylus. I don't have speakers connected, obviously, but alright, so stop. And I love it. So cool. I really like this. This is the business. I got this stereo with the idea I was going to do it up and sell it. Now I don't want to sell it. That's always what happens with these things with me. Every single time. Anyway, the turntable seems to be working. So happy days. Now let's have a look at the tape deck and see. Now it seems that is going to be a bit of a pain, but we'll figure it out. We'll get through it, and hopefully get it working as well as the turntable now does. And then we'll spruce everything up and do all the volume controls and everything like that as well. So seemingly, it's amazing actually how much of this is made of timber. So this is all timber here. But it seems that this piece here actually comes out separate. So let's unplug it first of all so I don't fry myself. Turn that off. Close that down. And we'll have a look through. And what we're going to do is literally very much feel our way through it. So there's screws either side of this panel, but does that get us anywhere? That's the bit I'm trying to figure out. Let me have a think about this and I'll come back to you. So looking down inside it, you can see there's a screw there and then there's another one down below. There's another screw there and then over that side as well. So it seems that what the way this works is that whole front fascia is screwed onto the timber with those screws. So in order to get at those screws, I need to take this back piece off. So what we'll do is we'll take those screws out along around this, and hopefully that'll give us the access we need to get at those. And then I'm hoping then that will allow this whole section here to come away from the timber part, and we will be able to get at the bits we need to. The benefit of doing all this as well then is it gives us the opportunity to properly clean all the pots and switches and all that sort of stuff as well. Give them a squirt of deoxit. What I'll try and do is, the problem I have with YouTube is that every single time there's even a hint of music, regardless of how much effort I put into the video I've made, if there's a hint of music by some other artist in the background or whatever, then that artist gets all the credit for my video. I don't get it. Don't mind a little bit, but I think the way they do it is a bit unfair. So it just basically means that I can't show you this working with the with any music, because the problem is you just won't get to see the video then. And it seems that the transformer and power supply and everything like that are on the back of this panel. So now, helpfully, it says on the back here, unscrew when remove the cover. Well, I will do just that. All right. So yeah, the transformer is in there. Alright, so let's see now what are we dealing with here. Straightforward, it is not. Right, so now that I have this pivoted down out of the way, I am going to start getting the screws in here out. So it seems there's 6 of them. As I said, I'm just kind of feeling my way through it and find out now. This one, they're not particularly long or anything like that. They give a little cutout there in the wood for the screwdriver to get in and get this screw out, which is nice. Very thoughtful of them. Alright, so there is the 6 screws out. So how are we looking here? I'll actually just sit that back up there for a second. Just tilt it forward and make sure there aren't any screws hidden underneath. Yes, there are a set of, there's a whole stack of screws underneath it actually. How am I going to do that? Or do we even need to? See, I think the whole circuit board in the bottom actually comes out along with it. So I think if I put it up on its side, yeah, so that should let us get all of these out. So let's start pulling screws out, left, right and centre. These screws here don't need to come out. They're just holding the sides on. So let's have a look and see what we're dealing with here now. So put that down there. Get that out of our way. Well, there's residue of belt anyway down there, but although I'd say that's probably off the turntable, it's just after falling down inside it. So I can get rid of that. I can tell you now that although they made the process of replacing the belts on the turntable relatively straightforward, they certainly did not do the same thing for the tape deck. I'm breaking out into a cold sweat looking at this thing here. How are you meant it? I'm trying to figure out, do I even need to get the whole transport mechanism out, or can I replace the belts in situ, or what is the best way of proceeding here? Because the less I have to disassemble, the better on this. I wonder, like, if I take the motor out, for example, I should be able to get at, like, it's hard to know how many of the belts are even broken. It looks to me like that there's a belt missing on that capstan roller down there. So that's, yeah, there you go, look. So that's one of our problems anyway. So at least we know. But yeah, in order to get at that, there's a damnable amount of screws and fiddly bits that need to be got at. But if I take off, like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws holding that little piece on there, and take the motor out of the way as well, that might actually get me the access I need. So I'm going to try and do that and see what happens. Fortunately enough, I am documenting everything on video. Right, so the motor is now loose, and I'm finding that there is a little spring there, and down here is this kind of a lever mechanism here which has a circlip on it which needs to come off. I've started another little pot with the screws and fixtures from Just a Tape Deck, because it's kind of, there's a lot in this. Again though, oh, hang on, that's after coming out there now. Again, we don't want to stretch any springs here now, so let's I'm going to disconnect the springs and get the motor out of the way, and let's see what we can actually do with just that. Very important when you're doing this type of work to make sure you have your tongue just sticking out at the right angle. Right, now mine is firmly planted in my cheek. Jesus, Mitsubishi, it did not make this easy to fix. Mr. Bishi. Alright. Let's see. There's actually 2 separate pieces. So that slots out of there. And then out of there. So that can move over there. Actually, that whole piece will come out. Yeah, get that out of our way. And is this going to come out for us? Well, it'll certainly go some of the way. Okay, so that gives us access to, at very least, 2 of the belts, which is great. So, yeah, there's like a little bearing on the back of that. Let's pop that off. That's one of the belts. And is this going to just pop out? Oh, it is. Look at that. So I can actually just remove that. So now that is needing a clean, so I'm going to give that a clean up and we'll start reassembling. There is another belt somewhere in the thing there as well, and I think that just goes over to the counter, and if that is intact, grand. If not, I think I'll be leaving it be anyway, because yeah, there's no point in going digging any further than this, because the problem is that I'm just opening it up to doing damage. Look at my fingers just from the belt material. That's what I'm saying. It just turns into gloopy, horrible crap. Right, so the roller is all sorted and ready to go back in. So what we have is one of our belts hooked on the front side of it. I'm trying to wangle my big meat fist in through the circuitry and paraphernalia of the stereo. Jesus wept. This is not made for people with big becking ham fists like me. Well, in you go. Good lad. Okay, there's the belt on. Now, there we go. Okay, so that's that one on. Alright. So now we need to get our flat belt on next. Now, we obviously haven't got the motor in place, but we're going to hook it onto this little spud up here, and just hopefully that will do the trick. We'll be able to get the other belt on, get the back piece on, and start reassembling things and get to the point where we can actually put the motor back in. So, because this, yeah, that will work. Okay, so hopefully it's not going to stretch the belt too much while we're doing this. Alright, and next belt goes from here up to this lad here. On you go, good lad. Okay. Alright, so there are all the belts replaced on the tape deck, so far as I can tell. So now let's start putting things back together. Here's where the fun begins. There's another piece of the turntable belt down there actually as well. Let's see if we can get that out while we're here. What the hell is making that noise? I can assure you this thing is not plugged in, so I don't know what made that noise. Obviously something, a capacitor charged up or something like that. So, right. Just goes to show you need to be careful of capacitors, because they will zap you, and they can... Right, so let's see now. Hang on. This is the piece now that needs to go in next. So yeah. This acts on the micro switch down the bottom. So it hooks in there, goes along there. Needs to go onto this, that over here as well. Oh, hang on, get that up out of there. You try doing this with a set of size 12 meat fists and see how you get on. Alright. So that goes there. We should be able to get this onto here now at this stage. There we go. That's grand. Try doing it with a set of size 12 meat fists and a camera in your way. That's the other side of it. Alright, now. That is not supposed to be in there. I have to remember where the hell that spring that's hanging down there goes now in a second as well. Let's get the screws in first of all. That spring hooks onto the motor. So, I don't need to worry about that right now. I'm trying to play snooker with a rope. Go on, you little bugger. Is that your home? Too good for your home? This little lever down here, it's kind of hard to see, but it's in at the back, has to be in the correct position for that screw to go through, so that's why it wouldn't go in for me. So that's all done now. So next thing we can do is pop our motor back in, and that is here, sitting at the top. So let's have a gander and see what we're looking at here now. So that has to go through into there, and that's going to go over like this. Sits in behind there, and you can then see at the bottom down here is where that spring goes. So let's get the screws in for the motor well, actually, before we put the screws in, let's get the belts on, for God's sake. That's why we're in here. Look, I thought, never even thought to clean the bloody motor off. Alright, I'll clean that off camera and I'll come back in a sec. Alright, so now let's get our motor back in. Okay, that's that. Alright, yeah, this has to go on, doesn't it? Keep forgetting about that. Don't know what exactly. Oh, I know what this does. It's the soft close mechanism for the door. Because, yeah, I pressed the eject button and the thing snapped open and nearly took my mate's head clean off. It did. There we go. You guys are in the way. Will you step off my feet? Okay, that's that one done. And where's the other screw go? Down the bottom, down there. And the screw hole down underneath the motor down there. That's where that goes. Okay, so you can see that spring is back on there now as well, and there's another little spring that comes up from the top that is for the record protection detector doofer that goes into the top of the tape. So that's all done. The roller is spinning freely and everything there as well, and definitely I think the way to go is actually to try and do this without taking the whole mechanism out of the hi-fi. And I was right, actually, incidentally, that is the damper for the soft close mechanism of the door, which now for reasons I don't fully understand doesn't want to close. Great. Well, we may investigate that and see why that won't close. So the tape deck is back together again, and everything seems to be in order, and all of the belts are turning and everything like that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some power on this, and we're going to see how we're going now. I did have a bit of faffing around to do, because it turned out that the stop button was actually stuck on, so I had to try and free that up. It actually turned out that I just had one of the plates here in the wrong position. Just had to take the stuff back out again, figure it out, and put it back in again. It's all good now, though. Okay, so let's put some power on things. There we go. So that's on, and I have a tape here I'm going to pop in. I'm going to make sure that works, and hit the play button. And it would appear to be playing something anyway. Alright, last thing I need to do is change the pinch roller, and that's a little bit finicky, but it's done from this side. You can see down there that there is a little circlip holding the pinch roller in place, so I need to get something to just pop that circlip off and hopefully not lose it. And we'll take that roller out, and we should be able to actually change the pinch roller wheel itself. And then what we'll do is we'll clean the heads and stuff like that while we're in there as well. I've done a few light reconditions of various pieces of hi-fi equipment over the years, mainly receivers and stuff like that. This one is an absolute pain in the ass though. I mean, I can't get at the pots or anything like that at all. I have to take this circuit board out now in order to get down at them. The tape deck was a right nuisance, to be honest with you, as well. I had an awful lot of faffing around to try and sort that out. But I'm just looking, it looks to me like there might only be 3 screws holding that circuit board in, and if that is the case and it can just kind of peel back a little bit and I can get some deoxide in there, that's what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to dive too deep in this. Well, folks, it is quite a number of days later, and I'm kind of trying to remember where I left off on this because, I think it was still kind of in a slight state of disassembly, but as you can see now, it's not anymore because I've got everything put back together again. Now, one of the things I did have to do is I had to replace a fuse, which obviously blew when I was rooting around inside. Probably shorted something out that I shouldn't have done, but in any case, I was able to replace the fuse, and all is good now. And if you see now, I'm going to put this onto phono, and now I don't want to get a copyright infringement. I don't think I would with this record. It's Christmas songs from various artists, so I'm not too concerned about the record getting scuffed up, which is the reason why I haven't actually even taken it off while I've been working on it. But it's working, as you can hear. So now we'll hit the stop button. Oh, I love it. That is so cool. So there we go. That's all good. Turntable is working as it should. And the stylus has been replaced and everything as well. And you will see here the cassette player is also working. I don't even know what's on it, but take my word for it that it's working. As I said, I can't show you any of the audio simply because of the fact that it will give me a copyright infringement on the video, and then I won't get any revenue out of it. So I don't necessarily always do these videos for the money, but it's a nice added bonus, let's just say. And lastly, just for pig iron, let's try out the radio.
But we've been on a visit to the vet. So I'm walking home with my cat.
Now, I've just got a test speaker connected up, but that leads me on to the next thing. Let's get the speakers down from the loft and have a look at them, because I have the original speakers and a display case for this unit as well. So I've got the whole kit and caboodle for it, which is fantastic. I think even the manual is up there for it and everything too. Before we get into the speakers, this is the glass case that it goes into. So let's get that cleaned up and get it all into it. Oh my God, the original receipt of sale is in here. It was £500 back on the 18th of May 1983. That is the coolest thing. Oh wow, I'm so excited about that. Brilliant. Unfortunately, the manual is not there. I thought it was, but but still though, I mean, that more than makes up for it. How cool is that? I think it actually says Father Lyons, so I wonder is he a priest in Dunnard, which is only up the road from where I am here actually. And there he is, the very man himself, Father Kevin Lyons from Dunnard. That is just the coolest thing ever. Poor old devil passed away though since, but so I have a stereo, and I'm going to give it a good home. Well, isn't that just a thing of beauty, folks? I'm really, really happy with that now, and it's working perfectly. Let's turn it on. Here's a little light that shines down across the record that's on and everything as well. The dial lights are nice on it too. Right, so let's have a look at the speakers. And here it is with the speakers. Now, you'll see the eagle-eyed amongst you might notice there's something a little bit wonky about this one. And unfortunately, the front baffle has broken away from the box. So that is something we need to fix, but a little bit of wood glue won't go amiss. Interestingly enough, there's a data plate on the back of them, and you spin them around and have a look. Mitsubishi MC-8000, 8 ohms, 25 watts. So they're not going to lift the roof off the house, but they're not bad. They're probably a mid-range two-way speaker from back back in the 80s. I mean, yeah, there were better quality systems out there. I mean, 500 quid is kind of mid-range money for, like, when you consider the fact there was probably Pioneer systems for 8 and 900 euro in around the same time. But yeah, I mean, look, top of the range gear all the same. Like, I mean, well, not top of the range, but you know what I mean. It's really good quality gear all the same. Okay, so we shall let that dry. That is just a bit of wood glue on them, so that'll be grand. And once we've got that done, then what we can do is we can attach the front baffle to it and stick all that together, and then we should be good to go. So that'll be fine. It'll be a good, decent repair done on that. So and it is what this stereo deserves, without a shadow of a doubt. But I'll just turn it off there. I want to have another look at this receipt. I wanted to have a look and see if Rafferty and Co. in Naas are still open. Well, formerly of Rafferty's Electrical Main Street, Naas, the death has occurred of Joseph Michael Rafferty. So unfortunately, he has passed away as well. So that was him. So that was the guy who sold the radio. Isn't that cool? And that is it, folks. The restoration of this vintage Mitsubishi MC-8000 Hi-Fi is now complete, and I'm really happy with how it is sounding. Can't play any music on it, but you can listen to the dulcet tones of the Irish language there for a second. So there you go. Really happy with how this turned out. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what exactly I'm going to do with it yet. As I said, originally my plan was to sell it on and maybe replace it with something else even more bizarre and inexplicable. But for the moment, anyway, I am going to keep it, and I'm going to enjoy it. It's actually providing the tunes in my garage as I'm working on a Volkswagen Passat today. So it's, no, I'm not doing any videos on that. It's not very exciting. But this, all done, really happy with it, and that receipt was such a good find. So it's the little details on it, and that's the sort of stuff I love about the old school kind of gear. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment down below, let me know your thoughts on it, and if you want to see more stuff like this, please let me know. If this isn't your thing or whatever, then fine, you know. But look, we will either way, I'll see you in a future video. Thank you very much for watching.